See the VFX work of Rodeo FX, Image Engine, Iloura Studios, Mackevision, Zoic and more as we go behind the scenes on Season 7 of Game of Thrones. Rushed, plot and action-heavy, and more than a little silly in places, Season 7 of Game of Thrones concluded last year, and the visual effects houses who worked on the series are still publishing breakdowns of their VFX work. Below you'll find VFX breakdowns from houses involved plus some behind-the-scenes films created by HBO that cover both production and post, including the series' standout battle, the Loot Train Attack. See how specific episodes were created, cities, castles and of course, the dragon. Image Engine created arguably one of the most impressive characters in the whole series, the fire-breathing dragon. Here's a breakdown on how the VFX house created the CG dragon, basing the flying movement of its wingspan on footage of a flying eagle and flying bat, and see its massive size in scale to a human. Notice the concept art also. Rodeo FX Montreal-based VFX house Rodeo FX created various simulations and CG environments using compositing techniques in Houdini or Nuke for the nighttime battle and fight scenes. Watch this and more in the VFX breakdown below. Rodeo FX added ocean and background ships to sets, extended parts of Yara's ship, and on wider shots built out the silence completely and put 100 ships into the background. Rodeo FX also augmented the practical fire in the plates, enhancing the foreground on-set fire with CG or comped fire elements in the background. The fire on the sails was created in CG using Houdini. Rodeo FX also created water simulations around Theon as he floats around in the aftermath. Iloura Studios Iloura once again teamed up with HBO to craft the visuals for the Loot Train sequence in The Spoils of War scene of Episode 4. In The Spoils of War, Daenerys and her army of Dothraki confront the Lannisters in a fiery battle. Iloura VFX supervisors Glenn Mellenhorst and Josh Simmons lead the team for the standout battle of Season 7. You can watch a video breakdown of their work below. Glenn, who holds an Emmy for Season 6's Battle of the Bastards, explains what separates the VFX in this scene from others. We created digital doubles for the Dothraki at high resolution, knowing that we might need to drop them anywhere in a frame. This was not a case of throwing CG extras in the back of the horde, rather they are often front and center, something you'd never imagine trying to achieve in a typical TV show. In addition to enormous simulation data sets with full CG shots, set extensions, and assets, Iloura developed custom animation tools and enhancements that allowed artists to create without having to continuously rebuild for incredibly detailed work and flawlessly composited sequences. Our aim was to ensure an exciting and unified sequence that stayed true to the renowned Game of Thrones aesthetic, said Josh Simmons. And that they did. Zoic Studios has produced a short reel of its VFX which was primarily for environments including the snowy landscape outside Winterfell, the intricate geometric architecture of the Maester's Library at the Citadel, and the caves below Dragonstone Castle. However, the VFX house also produced character shots including Arya's removal of the face of Walder Frey in the first episode of the series, and making the mountain look even more undead. Mackevision German VFX house Mackevision have specialized in creating CG armies and navies, as well as set extensions for even grander castles and cities. HBO has been producing behind-the-scenes videos about each of the episodes of Season 7. These cover everything from cast commentaries to explanations of both practical and digital effects, and how these affect the actors involved. The best of these is the Loot Train Attack, which details just how difficult it was to create a battle scene involving ground troops, cavalry and dragons, and all of the dirt, blood and fire that comes with that, with shots from the ground and even from Daenerys' perspective on the back of a dragon. For more on how the show's big battles are created, read how the Battle of the Bastards was made. There's limited info on the visual effects work, but it's still fascinating how they created what the producers claim is the most number of actors on fire on set ever. Also well worth watching is The Frozen Lake, which details how an Irish quarry was transformed into a icy battleground for the climax of AD. More Game of Thrones behind the scenes. We've covered Game of Thrones VFX and other creative projects it's inspired many times on digital arts, including Rodeo FX's impressive visual effects for Season 6 and Season 5, an overall guide to Season 5's VFX, how Image Engine designs characters like the Night King, and an interview with Mackevision's Armin Pohl on creating Game of Thrones CG landscapes. Plus see the opening sequence recreated with amazing paper cutouts and discover a delightfully silly spoof for kids' TV show Ben.